The team for deployment models is focused on a practical perspective of the vision. We will analyze frameworks related to the operational deployment, to the implementation, in a way that it will be able to make the structures engage in the project. This will be this team, the team 4 of leadership and vision session. In what concerns the deployment of technology, in some way we prefer to follow the UNESCO ICT competence framework for teachers. Considering one of the challenges of implementation of technology is to redefine the role of teachers and how the new education system work in this new context. The first approach we consider is what we call technology literacy approach, and the infrastructure related to this is the technology lab, the creation of labs inside of the school where students and teachers can go to learn how to use the technology, and where they experience in a limited time and a limited space the use of technology in education context. This approach we link to the technology literacy approach, and beyond that is very difficult to keep very extended work in this environment. The second approach we consider is the one-to-one approach, where every student and every teacher have their own device. It means they can use it in any classroom, in any space of the school, at home and out of the school, out of home, everywhere, that allow a complete reorganization of the learning space. And we link this to knowledge deepening. Further, we will talk a little bit more about these three concepts, and in this workshop we will take care in detail and in very deep way on these concepts and these documents, but here we try to explain the three concepts and three approach in terms of deployment of technology in education. And the last approach, we will consider the personalized learning, and we link this to knowledge creation. That said, it means education and the deployment of technology, at least we can see it at least in three ways. One is the labs, where you have limited time and limited space to use it. You have one-to-one, where you can use it everywhere, all the time, and it is more immersive and demands more capacity to provide resources to train the teachers and to reorganize the school around that. And as the last approach, like the most sophisticated one, is the personalized learning, where students can be supported by data, by resources, who can fit the education to each student, to each situation, and the teacher role will help the student to develop knowledge creation and reorganize for each student the curriculum. These three approaches will be discussed in very detail in all the workshop. One of the great challenges of deployment an ICT education project at large scale is the fact that there is many information around, there is many questions around, and sometimes it's difficult to focus and to separate the different levels of intervention. It's very normal then when we start to talk about ICT projects, everybody knows, special people in education, very good examples, very bad examples at the classroom level or in a school level, but the things are different in our opinion. One thing is the intervention at the classroom level, the relation between teachers and students, the methodology, the pedagogy, the way how the school work, what are the resources and whatever. Another different intervention is the school level, how the teachers organize the school system, what are the school connectivity, and many other reasons for management the school, the timetables, whatever. Then that is a different approach that what happened inside. The things are related, but they are different, and each of them needs a different intervention. And the other is the project as a whole. Then all of these three elements are and require different types of intervention. And that's why we think that one of the very complicated problems is to separate these three levels of intervention and to organize a plan which includes this three-dimensional intervention approach. And this is key for implementation. If we don't have this separation, this analytics of the situation, then everything looks very complex, even to discuss and to engage the people. And we also propose a separation of three different questions, which they are interlinked, but they have to be dealt in different moments with different approaches. One is the vision. We need to create a vision for the project, integrate it in the country policy, in the world policy, in the region policy, but the vision is essential to understand what will be the role and the achievement of this project. The other thing is what kind of school, what kind of campus, and what is the role of this school with the community, how this go to impact the community. And this is another element which demands a very wide participation of different stakeholders, trade unions, different political parties, different institutions, universities, students associations, whatever, to participate in this process. And on the vision, also we need a vision. What is the classroom? Is the traditional classroom? What is the future classroom in this reality, in one country? That is a very key point to develop a project, to establish the vision in these three levels. The other is the policy. Here we identify what is the policy, is the multi-stakeholder participation. What is the whole school approach? Personalized learning, yes or not? Are we ready? What we need? What is the aim? Then the policy must clear what the vision in this context. And this is another level of work and planning. And last but not the least, the regulations and resources. Sometimes we have a very good policy or a very good vision, but regulations are not clear what to do. Are the teachers obliged to use ICT in education? When? How many hours? Or how many days? And how this will link with organization of the school? And what is the dimension of the professional development of teachers? And all of these need to be defined. Otherwise, policy will be not understood and empty. And of course, regulations, it's like a kind of proof if we have enough resources. Because if we say, for example, teachers have to use technology one day every week or every day, and the resources are not there, then these regulations don't work. Policy is not working, the vision is failed. Then these three elements, vision, policy, regulations, and resources, we can say four, but I think regulations and resources are very linked directly. And the classroom level, the campus school level, and the project level, the three levels of intervention, we need to analyze one by one. That's one of the topics of this workshop, maybe the most important in the core of the workshop. And this will give the possibility to have a discussion in different aspects and not be based on events or on facts or examples, which are very good to understand the situation, but don't solve the problem of deploying a very deep and wide project at national level or region level or country level. In this context, I want to introduce the ICT in Education Toolkit. This is one of the documents which try to organize and make more systematic the information for policymakers, planners, and practitioners. It's not an update document, but the questions it raises, the methodology, in my point of view, is one of the few documents which try to give an overview on this subject. Unfortunately, there is no many of them. We go to analyze this one, and we expect in the near future this type of aggregated documents can appear for policymakers, planners, and this workshop is at least a try to aggregate this kind of information. We will analyze this during this moment in the workshop. We will come back to the UNESCO ICT competence framework for teachers several times during this workshop, especially because this document is a kind of framework of frameworks. It has an objective, the teacher's competency, but it was able to give a global context on the subject. And that is why I want to come back to this part, the three approaches of the framework, which we use for other aspects. Then I want to and the document is available for download, to look at these three approaches. The literacy approach, where people can, as I explained in the lab, the people can gain the competence to use technology in the schools. They have skills, they gain skills, technology skills, incorporating technology skills. The second level is the deepening approach, where the students can add value to what they do. Students and teachers, they can add value. And then it's not only how to incorporate the technology in the curriculum, in the work of the learning and education, but also be able to add value to what the curriculum is, to what the education is, to go beyond that. And the third approach is the knowledge creation, where students go beyond the curriculum, they recreate. And this is why I link this to the personalized learning. And now we have AI, artificial intelligence, we have blockchain, we have big data in education, many other topics which we will see very important in this context. I want to call the attention for this concept, which come from this specific document, but in my point of view, it goes beyond that. Then looking to this document will help not only to understand the competence the teachers need, but also a good framework to understand what kind of approach we can have when we talk about technology in education. Just a final note on this webcast. This webcast is part of an accelerator workshop as a pillar of Sustainable EDU Policy Framework Architecture, a program to support the design and implementation of ICT education projects. Please feel free to visit the website of the program. The link is below in this slide, or contact us by email. It will be a pleasure and an honor to contact to get your feedback and even to establish a partnership to support any ICT education project. Thank you.